Top small cap fund manager Steve Ballmer answers your questions in a feature we call Ask Steve. This Small Cap Power exclusive puts our viewers in direct communication with the top fund manager in the country. In this May 2013 edition, Ubika Research Senior Analyst Vikas Ranjan catches up with Steve to ask the top questions submitted by our viewers.
Today we welcome Steve Ballmer, CEO and lead fund manager for AlphaNorth in our Ask Steve series. Welcome, Steve.
Thanks, Vikas.
The broader markets have gone up significantly this year, especially markets south of the border. What do you think is going to happen in the remainder of the year 2013? Are we due for a correction?
I think we could have a correction in the broader markets, but in my view it'll be fairly modest. I think investors are still not overly bullish right now.
Do you think there is a disconnect between US markets and Canadian markets right now?
Yes, because the resource component, which is quite high in the Canadian markets, has lagged significantly, and that has caused Canada to underperform. But it's our view that resources they're very oversold right now, resource equities, and we expect them to rally over the remainder of the year. And the Canadian market could play some catch-up to the US indices.
So there is some hope for Canadian border market to catch up as in the second half as the resources kind of make a comeback.
It might be hard to catch up because the Canadian index is already fairly far behind on a year-to-date basis, right. But it'll be a close race.
What about juniors? It has been really bad year so far for junior markets. What's your view on junior market right now?
The Canadian small caps, it's been disappointing. They have there's a very high percentage in the junior markets of resource equities, which have lagged, but we think things are extremely oversold, and the valuations are very attractive right now. So we expect that a bottom is very near.
What kind of sectors are you liking in these environments? Are you just resource focused, or you look at other sectors as well?
What we do is we try to have a diversified approach. So I target roughly a 50% resource exposure and a 50% others. So that would include technology and life sciences mainly.
Are you surprised by the recent crash in gold prices? You have been a bit bearish on gold for some time now, so in that respect your call has been pretty good. What's your take on crash in gold prices which happened currently?
In my view, it was a technical level, support level that broke. People just use that as a reason to run for the exits. I wasn't expecting that to occur. I thought it would hold, and I earlier in the year I forecast that gold should trend higher in 2013, but I expect at some point all the money that's poured into the gold ETFs will come out, and usually retail investors try to all head for the exit door at the same time, and we saw a foreshadowing of what is probably going to occur down the road.
But do you continue to believe in precious metals as sort of currency alternative, in the sense that there has been a lot of new money being printed all over the world? Do you think that precious metal is still going to hold its appeal in coming years?
If other asset classes are working, then there's less reason to own gold. I'm not a big believer that it's a currency. Last time I checked, I couldn't go to the store and buy anything with a piece of gold. So,
is there any stock which you currently like in your portfolio or hold in the portfolio which you would like to share with our viewers?
Well, there's one technology name that's done fairly well despite the challenging environment. BSM Technologies. It's a technology company that's very cheap. It's growing at 25%, trades at a single-digit PE multiple, and has lots of cash. They just recently made an acquisition that should add some critical mass and some synergies to the business.
Tell us a little bit about your fund and what is new and exciting within AlphaNorth's world.
Our main fund is the Alphanorth Partners Fund, which is a long-biased, small-cap focused hedge fund. It's roughly 2/3 technology, life sciences, and 1/3 resource exposure. Many of the significant positions in that fund are very attractive on a fundamental basis. So we're pretty excited about what the prospects are over the balance of the year. The other two funds, one is a resource fund. We recently launched in February, the AlphaNorth Resource Fund. And we also have the AlphaNorth Growth Fund. Both of those are mutual funds. The Growth Fund is diversified across all sectors.
So your partner fund, the flagship fund, has done very well despite the market downturn in the junior markets. If I am correct, you have averaged about 20% since inception, whereas the benchmark index has actually gone down, TSXV. How do you manage to keep that kind of return? What do you do?
Well, we try to pick good stocks. We identify companies that have the potential to go up multiples in value. The fact that it was a diversified fund, so we had a 50% weighting in technology for the past couple years, helped in this downturn because the downturn in small caps has been led by the junior resources. So that's helped as well.
Do you think resources will come back in the second half of 2013?
Yeah, I think they will. I think the commodities have already bounced back off the lows earlier this month. The equities have lagged again, but I think it's only a matter of time before the resource equities rebound to reflect what's going on in the global economy.
What would be your suggestion for investors for remainder of 2013 if they wish to invest in small cap stocks?
Well, investors should invest when there's the most fear in the streets. What we found is investors typically chase performance.
Right.
We had 2 very strong years in 2009 and 10, and a lot of money came in 2011, expecting another triple-digit year of positive returns, and unfortunately that didn't happen. But when we have some poorer performance, that's the time that investors should be buying on the dips rather than chasing stocks to new highs.
Thank you very much, Steve. It was very insightful, and we believe that our viewers will really enjoy listening to your interview today.
Okay, thanks for having me.
You can get more expert interviews on the education page at SmallcapPower.com. And be sure to sign up for our daily newsletter to receive the Ubika Gold 50 Index Report delivered to your inbox every Monday morning. SmallcapPower.com, investment ideas and research.